Hello, my name is Njeri Njoroge, a graduate architect, also known as the cooking architect. Once again, welcome to Afford Your Design. Let's do this. Welcome once again to episode 4 of Afford Your Design. So last time we made some mashed potatoes, stir-fry beef and some vegetables. We had a good time with Mr. Hundra. Today we said we're not letting him go. He's coming back. We've just done the plating and we're about to taste the meal as we continue our conversations around housing affordability. So Mr. Hundra, welcome.
Thank you.
It's always such a pleasure to have you. Yes. So in front of us, we have such an amazing meal. It smells delicious. We're able to prepare this with Mr. Hundra. So maybe we just dig in.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Good stuff. Yes, good stuff. I love the mashed potatoes.
Try them.
Very airy, because I'm really used to having creamy, heavy mashed potatoes. Today it's very
Love
airy.
the
The parsley is making it bright and colorful. We have done a good job here.
It's good that you enjoy. I'm enjoying too.
I hope you've loved the cooking experience.
Oh yes, anytime, anytime.
You know, I
Yes.
thought I was ambushing you.
No.
Then I realized you are so in your comfort zone. It is me who has ambushed myself. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very comfortable. Thank you.
Okay, so in today's episode, one of the things I was thinking we'd talk about is affordability of using consultants, professionals within the industry when it comes to building. This is also with the rising issues of buildings collapsing.
Yes.
And then now the question is, who do we blame? And so on and so forth. So I don't know what you would tell us about that.
Well, let me start with the part of consultants. Consultants are actually trained so that you may be able to walk you through, and not just walk you through, but also guide you in the entire process. I know people say, okay, consultants are expensive, but in my experience, if you know what you want, they will guide you through. There are ways you can actually negotiate on pricing, either through the hourly or percentage of. And one of the things I think people forget is that there are two ways of actually doing a design.
Okay.
You can either design and then cost a design.
Okay.
Or you can design to a cost.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yes. Where you cost a design is where you just have a design done because this is what the dream house
is. Yeah.
Yes. Then after that, you cost that and say this costs X. So when it comes to your consultants, they usually paid on a percentage of the amount of work that is going to get done. So that is one way of doing it. There, you're at the mercy of the design.
Yeah.
But there is another way. You can say, I have X amount and I want to achieve this. And mostly what a good consultant will do is advise you on either a price per square meter, which would be standardized, again, determined by the finishes and type of house that you want, or even the type of materials you're going to use. And they will advise you that with that, you can only do probably, let's say, for an example, you want a 100 square meter house, and we say it's going to cost you about 35,000 shillings per square meter. So there, you already know what you're going to get.
It's
100 square meters, so how do you fit in the spaces that you want? Because at that time, when you have a almost fixed cost for your consultants, then they can guide you through that. If you shift this, make that smaller, this is more space, it will be designed now towards to meet a particular cost.
Yes.
Now, that is where a good consultant should actually guide you through. Then they'll guide you through the materials, they'll guide you through how to, design and get it finished. There are places where you might put a door and decide, okay, we don't need that door, don't need that wall. that particular saving can go into something else.
Yes.
So the same 100,000 house could cost you 50,000 shillings per square meter if you want marble floors and what else.
Yes.
So that is why we say designing to a cost. Yes, rather than costing a design.
So it is affordable to actually use the consultants and the professionals.
Yes, if properly guided, because that is a figure that you can stick and say, you're going to pay the professionals X amount of money. Yes. So, in fact, when you talk of consultant, I always say it is good to know who your contractor is going to be, who is going to build. Let them be part of the process because they are the ones on the ground. They can help you either in sourcing. It will also depend on the kind of contractor you get. Or they'll help you and tell you that rather than do this, why don't we use that material? So it's also good to know who is going to be a contractor and just anybody. Yes.
And I think part of making them like a contractor part of the process is that eventually they would know your dream as it goes.
Yes.
They're not just coming and being slapped with a drawing.
Exactly.
It is they know, okay, the main goal, the main dream of the client is this, and this.
Yes.
So who are these consultants we're talking about in the built industry?
Now,
who are they?
Number one, you have the architect.
Yes, you have the architect.
The role of the architect primarily is to translate that dream you have into in your head on paper first.
Yes.
And tell you this is how it's going to look. And the architect will usually even guide you through the general costings. Not the exact, but the general costings. They can give you a price per square meter. They can tell you on what finishes will come in at that particular price. Then you have the quantity surveyor.
Yes.
A quantity surveyor is somebody who will break down everything and tell you you'll need so much of this,
nails.
So much of that, nails. It's going to be this much. Actually, not exactly the nails.
Really?
What they do is they take, for example, we have a particular layout. They'll tell you the foundations are going to cost. This is the kind of amount it's going to cost. Remember, even in foundations, it will depend on something. It will be measured after.
Yes.
Because if you're in red soil, it's a very different type of soil from black cotton soil.
Yes.
So they will come and measure the works after it is all done. So they will tell you the exact quantities and the costs based on what the architect has specified.
Yes.
And sorry, before the quantity survey, there is also the structural engineer. Now, the structural engineer will work out on the frames and make sure the building stands, that what the architect has drawn will stand up. So they'll tell you, we need columns here, we need this kind of steel here, we need A, B, C, D. Yes. Now, that is what the quantity surveyor actually quantifies. Then we have the services engineer, mechanical, electrical. Now, the mechanical will all your water services inside the house. That's your piping, your taps, and everything else where it's the sink. They'll make sure that all your piping work is done properly, or be it your toilets, anything with water. That's what they do.
Aren't the service engineers under the contractor?
Not necessarily. You can have them separately. Okay, let's put it this way. I know in the market today that let's now talk the reality of things on the ground. The reality of things is that a lot of our people who have studied services engineering have ended up becoming subcontractors, electrical, mechanical subcontractors.
Yes.
Therefore, if you're very fortunate enough, you're going to get a qualified person. So mostly in smaller projects, you're going to find that a lot of people, the architects will just tell you here's where all the lines, and therefore your mechanical engineer or subcontractor comes in handy and does that particular work.
Yes.
Even the electrical engineer. But as the projects get bigger and more complicated, I would advise that you actually get in a proper qualified electrical practicing person. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
No.
I feel like I have learned so much. I feel like I'm like in one of my lessons also. So yeah, I don't think there's much more we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for being and coming to be with us in these 2 episodes. I really don't take it for granted. I look up to you. You say you've been doing housing or architecture per se for the last 25 years.
Yes.
I feel I'm like, you did it my whole life, you know? But it is, I'm very grateful. We're very grateful to have you. Thank you, everyone who has been able to tune in today. Come back next in 2 weeks. We have an episode every 2 weeks. And we keep doing this. Thank you so much. God bless. And see you next time. Bye. You put it. Put. Do not. Put it. Just put. Whoever says garlic is bad.
It's okay.
Just you know now.